All right, good afternoon, AP students. I sure hope these videos are helping you guys. Today we're going to be talking about document sourcing, and so let's get right into it. Document sourcing can earn you 2 points, and it's not difficult. You just have to follow what it says, and right here to earn the points, you have to explain the document's point of view, purpose, historical situation, or audience. Those are 4 key elements. You don't have to do all 4. You simply have to do one of those. You have to explain the point of view of the author. You could explain the purpose and why he is writing it. You could explain the time period. Is there something going on in that time period? A reason why he's saying what he's saying or she's saying what she's saying. Or is there an audience? Are they a court official talking to a king? Because if their audience is the king, they might be saying extremely positive things to the king, or maybe they are going to be saying extremely negative things about a certain person. So all you gotta do is point those possibilities of their point of view, purpose, historical situation out in that document. All right. So when we look at this, let's go up here. This is the prompt right here that I've been saying this is kind of my practice prompt that I've been going over, so feel free to reread it. I'm not going to. This is the practice thesis, my 3 argument points. And this is the same document that I went over yesterday. And my first step that I want to do when I'm teaching you guys how to do document sourcing is simply, how do I recognize document sourcing? How do I recognize point of view, purpose, historical situation, or audience? Number 1, when you're reading the document, make sure you read everything, including this source part up here, because this will be a key in helping you recognize document sourcing. Number 1, we find out the author's name, and then we get into important stuff. He's a lawyer. He's a former banker. He's now writing. Well, what is he writing about? He's writing about U.S. government supported infrastructure projects. And notice his title, Bridges to Somewhere. Infrastructure is always a good investment. Right away, I know this guy is probably being positive, and I automatically know his point of view is going to be positive towards infrastructure projects. And what kind of infrastructure projects? Government supported infrastructure projects. Now, sometimes these titles can be misleading, but yesterday we read that this guy likes the Erie Canal. Talks up the benefits of it. Talks up the benefits of the Pacific Railroad Act, and how those government-sponsored infrastructure projects were super awesome. So he's all about that. All I got to do now is just point that out. Infrastructure is always good. That's what he said. Those aren't my words. This guy's, before we read the document, he sounds super positive about it. Well, all you have to do is point out why he's super positive, and what's the possibility, what's the benefits for him possibly for doing that. Okay, what I've done here is copy and pasted in my document so far, my paragraph on this document so far. What did I have? I have a topic sentence that talks about the public infrastructure projects like railroads and canal systems. My next part, I basically got specific. I pointed in where he talks about the Erie Canal, the Pacific Railroad Act, the benefits of it, the different job opportunities it's opening up, and finally how that it's providing a link to key trade hubs on the eastern seaboard. I'm just describing the document. This last thing that we did yesterday was supporting it. I'm now linking it to my thesis by saying this document is supporting my thesis because it's trying to unify consumers across the country, right? I'm basically saying industrialization was used to unify the country by basically giving people access to goods no matter where they lived, by linking the country on opposite sides, the East Coast and the West Coast, together. People can now buy and receive goods all over the country. It's linking them together. It's giving them access to those things. That's how it unified how it unified our nation. Okay. With that being said, let's get right into the document analysis part. And I'm going to take it a sentence at a time. Sentence number 1, I'm going to read it and then break it down. Number 1, interestingly, however, the author of document 7, is a former banker and lawyer, and titles the paper where document 7 comes from, infrastructure is always a good thing. Okay, now that I've recognized sourcing, which category does it fit into? Well, I'm telling you it fits into point of view. Because when we look back at our choices, point of view, purpose, historical situation, and audience, number 1, when he says infrastructure is always good, I'm not pointing to a time period, so it's not historical situation. I'm not talking about the audience. And I'm really not focusing in on the purpose. I'm basically saying the author of this document has a background as a banker and a lawyer, and he titles his paper this. I'm basically pointing out his point of view. If I was going to write about purpose, I would say, interestingly, however, the reason the author of document 7 is doing these things, blah, 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 blah. If I was going to do a historical situation, I would say, interestingly, the time period in which the author is writing this document. Now I'm giving historical situation. And if I'm doing audience, I would say, interestingly, however, the audience for whom the author is talking to, and then explain that a little bit. So there's different ways you can do it. I chose point of view. And what did I do? I said the author, I gave you his background, and then I gave a quote. I know I said quotes are bad. Listen, quotes are okay if you're using it in your sourcing. Just keep it short and sweet. Don't use quotes in your description of the document. That's a no-no. Use your own words. But if you're trying to say the author is writing for a specific reason, it might be kind of crucial to add in a quote. Here's some proof to back up why I'm saying this about the author. Okay. Next, my next sentence. As a former banker and indicated by this industrialization positive title, the author is likely only focusing on the positive effects of industrialization in this piece as it relates to the generating of more money for businesses, banks, and wealthy people like him. Now that I've pointed out point of view, I have to say, okay, well, what's he benefited? How is he benefiting from this? And notice I point back to his background. That's key again. I'm saying as a former banker, and because his title is super positive. Notice up here, I just say the title is this. You need to tell me that this is a positive title. As a former banker, and indicated by this industrialization positive title, the author is likely, and this is a key word, don't be black or white. Don't be, hey, this person has to be one way or the other. Don't trust this document. He's totally bogus. Don't say things like that. I'm just saying the author has the probability of only focusing on the positive effects. The author is possibly only focusing on the positive effects. I don't know 100%, but I'm saying it's kind of odd. It's kind of a coincidence that all these things match up. This needs to be looked into more, right? The author is likely only focusing on the positive effects. Why? Because it could generate more money for businesses, banks, and wealthy people like him. That's crucial, guys. You put in a little bit of his background again. You tell me that this is a positive title. Don't assume that I know that it's a positive title. You don't be black or white. You basically say it's possible, it's likely. There's the probability, and then you tell me why he's being super positive. Well, he's being super positive because he has a chance to maybe benefit from it. But I don't just say he has the chance of benefiting. I get specific. He has the chance of generating more money for who? Not just him, but people like him. What kind of people like him? Get specific. Businesses, banks, and wealthy people like him. All right, last sentence. This makes me wonder how many negative environmental effects he may have overlooked to focus only on these positives. Again, he's likely only focusing on the positives. If he's only focusing on the positives, what is he leaving out? Well, this makes me wonder, could it be that he left something else out? Could it be that he overlooked something? Yeah, what could it be that he overlooked? The environmental effects, the negative environmental effects, right? So he could have overlooked other negative effects as well. I just point out that this guy, he could be overlooking negative environmental effects. He could be missing other negative effects as well. You just got to point those things out. So that's a good example of sourcing. I hope that made sense to you guys. If not, please email me, call me. I'm going to come down here and scroll to a different document real fast and kind of go over maybe a historical situation. We're talking about nationalism in this time period. Notice we have a German philosopher addressing the German nation in what time period? 1807 to 1808. But it's during the occupation of Napoleon. Napoleon was a Frenchman. Could it be that Johann, whatever his name is saying positive things about the German nation because he's trying to inspire the German people when they're being occupied by a French dictator, Napoleon? Could he be trying to inspire revolt? Could he be trying to drive out the French? Those are all possibilities. You just have to simply point those out. Go further. Is he maybe hoping to do something? Could he be hoping to unite the Germans into one nation? Could he be saying, let's resist them like we resisted the Romans of the past? I'm giving you guys some key pointers here. So there's all kinds of different ways that you can do it. This would be a good one for historical situation. I think this one is a great example of point of view. I'm not going to tell you all of these. You guys have the opportunity to read and analyze them yourself. So what I would like for you guys to do is, you've got to practice one here, you've got a document here, you've got another one here, 3, and you've got document 4. Just take 2 of these documents. You could take this one here and this one, or you could take these other 2 and basically write a document analysis. Okay? If you've already done a document description, like if you've already done this stuff up here, like I just did, I highlighted right here, if you've already done this beginning stuff for that paragraph, then basically piece it into one big paragraph. If you've not done it, if you've not done the full description and everything for this paragraph, that's okay. Just do the sourcing part. So again, provide me with sourcing material for at least 2 of these documents. That's your assignment. I sure hope this made sense, and this will probably be the last video for this week, but we'll just see. So, hey, stay safe and good luck out there.